Hi, I'm McNamara-Marsland. This is my capstone presentation for my Masters of Exhibition and Experience Design from the Fashion Institute of Technology, and my project is called Tune In. First, I wanted to talk about what my project is addressing, which is this mindset of doomerism felt by many people around the world, especially among young people. It is caused by fear and anxiety about climate change and the future of our planet, and frustration felt that we are not acting in the best interest of humanity. And when there is no hope, there is no change that takes place. So keeping this hope is very important. Next, I wanted to introduce you to the concept of divergent thinking. This is the process of creating many possibilities and many solutions stemming from one singular topic or question, as opposed to convergent thinking, which is coming to one singular answer. Divergent thinking is very important in creativity and creative problem solving. So how does music play into this? Well, studies have shown that music is a very effective facilitator of divergent thinking for multiple reasons. It lowers anxiety, it improves mood, but crucially, it allows your brain to soften its focus on one particular thing and allows your subconscious to create connections between separate thoughts, which leads to creative insights. So this brings me to my big idea of my exhibition. I wanted to create a space that utilizes this phenomenon of divergent thinking of music leading to divergent thinking, and take this and create a space in which visitors are interacting with topics from ways they have not before. And hopefully this leads to new perspectives and new thoughts on these heavy topics. So my bubble diagram, starting from the bottom, as I was mentioned, this stuck mindset of hopelessness and fear and lack of innovation, and using the music to facilitate divergent thinking around all of these heavy topics, leading to creative insights and leaving people feel inspired and excited to take on complex issues. This is just about all summed up in my thesis statement, which you are welcome to pause and read if you wish. And then my goals, just quickly. From the beginning, I wanted to incite discussion and new conversation about these heavy topics of climate change. I wanted to teach people about what divergent thinking is, why it's important, and how music can be used to facilitate this, and how that can be taken throughout the rest of your life beyond this exhibition. And I wanted to create very engaging, immersive, participatory environments that were fun and exciting for people to experience. My audience, primarily I wanted to attract creators, thinkers, problem solvers, people who naturally like to think about complex issues and problem solving and innovation. This could be anyone from artists to scientists, anyone who likes to take on a challenge. And as well as my secondary audience, which is millennials and Gen Z. These are not necessarily mutually exclusive audiences, but just wanted to reach out to younger audiences in general because they are who this issue is primarily weighing on. My client is Dolby. They create very highly immersive experiences through their audio and visual technology, especially surround sound systems. My venue is Greenpoint Terminal Warehouse. This is an old rope-making factory that was converted into an event space. Big open warehouse, tall ceilings with rigging capabilities and access to the street. This is my visitor flow. So you visitors will enter through the garage door entry from the street into the intro area. From there, they will enter into the drought, which is the first of all of the climate specific areas, and then from drought into the rest of the space. From drought, the rest of the space opens up into a radial floor plan in which visitors can bop into any area that calls their eye. There are areas specifically focused on different climate issues, and they all surround the loss of biodiversity area. And once they are finished exploring, they can exit through the outro back onto the street. So this is the entrance to the exhibition. The facade, the top is a historic landmark, so that cannot be touched, but the bottom can be vinyl wrapped, which is what I plan to do. And then into the intro area, this is where visitors are introduced to the idea of the entire exhibition being music, increasing flow thinking and leading to divergent thinking. Visitors will get this information via this internally projected sphere that's sitting in the middle of the room, as well as the walls, which are scrim that is backlit with color-changing RGB lights, LED lights, and projected onto. So this creates a very evolving environment that introduces these ideas. Entering into the drought area, this is a light and sound manipulation area in which the area will begin with very cool toned lighting and very low, slow music, and increasingly become warmer in color temperature as well as higher frequency and pitch in order to manipulate the senses. As also along the sides of this area are slotted mirrors, and this enables the visitors to see themselves in the space, and this acts as a very grounding entrance in order to place yourself in your role in the experience. And then after drought, as I said, it becomes an open floor plan. So let's say you wanted to enter into the Arctic melt area next. This is an area that is surrounded by cylindrical scrim, and you enter in, and there are projections all on the wall around you, and as well as the floor. And you first see this contraption in the center of the room that you are invited to walk up to and play around with. You will see these turntable devices that are each linked with a specific greenhouse gas. And as you turn one of the turntables, you will see the corresponding light get brighter in the tube in front of you, as well as the gas or fog being released and filling up the tube. As the tube fills up with the gases, the projections on the walls around you begin to change and become more furious, and the projections on the floor below you also change as the iceberg you're standing on begins to disperse. These turntables are also connected, each one to a different component of the music that is playing. So one is connected to the tempo, one is connected to the pitch, and one is connected to the volume. So as you increase the gas of one of the stations, part of the music gets thrown off, and as well as the environment around you. So it would take the cooperation of everyone at the stations to get the environment back into harmony. This is the pollution area, in which I wanted to touch on a lesser talked about type of pollution that ties back into music, which is noise pollution. So the idea is that you walk into this room and you are bombarded with chaotic noises. There are sounds overlapping, and there's also hanging scrim from which you can't really quite make out what you see. You're invited to explore the room, and as you do so, you will find a specific spot in which all of the directional speakers line up, and the sounds become harmonious, and the image on the scrim in front of you aligns, and it's this perfect spot of clarity amongst the chaos around you. There's also sound-absorbing carpet on the floor to retain the bouncing of acoustics. This deforestation labyrinth is made out of suspended scrim with a wire metal framing, and the idea is that you can see through to the projections on the walls around, as well as the people that you can see through in the other areas of the labyrinth. And as you're walking through, you will eventually walk through one of the sensors that are placed along the floor, and this triggers changes in the environment which correspond with information about the issues of deforestation. So everyone in the labyrinth experiences these changes in the environment together, despite not necessarily knowing what caused the trigger until you reach that certain point. Next is the ozone layer, and this is an area specifically about hope, because the ozone layer was once in great concern and degradation, but through regulation and driven by activism, we have really turned the page and are in rehabilitation of the ozone layer. So it is an area a reminder that there is hope, that activism and regulation works, and this is an area that invites you to relax and reflect. Grab a pair of wireless headphones that are pre-programmed with different choices of music that allow for your individualized music listening experience, and take a seat on one of the suspended fabric swings, relax, reflect, and think about what you've experienced thus far and how this relates to what you see in the world around you. The projections on the walls are also motion censored, so you can walk up to the walls and actually manipulate the projections around you and stand in the clouds created by the fog machines. The biodiversity area is the area in which all the other areas surround. It is the center of the exhibition, and it is a highly immersive space with these LED spot lit scrim beams and these flexible LED rings suspended from the ceiling. As people interact with the surrounding areas, this feeds energy into the biodiversity area, which will then cause changes in the projections in the environment, which becomes a very fun place to hang out and think about the biodiversity. There are also these benches in the space that allow you to sit and take a moment to relax, and you'll find hidden in these benches these plant wave devices. That is a product that has created this technology to measure electrocism in the plants caused by the moving water through the veins in the leaves, and it takes these measurements and translates it into algorithms, which then produce music specific from these plants, so you can have fun turning the volume dials up and down from the different devices hooked up to the plants and hear what some of your favorite plants sound like. And as I mentioned, the participation in the surrounding areas feeds energy into the biodiversity area. This is because all of these other climate issues do affect biodiversity. So this is an example of what that interaction looks like if you were coming back into the biodiversity from another area. The motion sensors on the floor recognize your movement, and as you walk back into the biodiversity area, you see energy waves start to resonate from your spot. And then when you're all done with the exhibition, you can exit through the outro area. First is a question that just prompts you to think about where do you find hope, and you can enter your response through these kiosk keypads or click one of the determined answers, and as you round the corner you would see your answer projected onto the walls, as well as other people's sources of hope from throughout the day or from throughout the exhibition. And then when you leave, you are reminded one last time through this infinity mirror on your way out that the hope lies within you, and you see the word hope pasted over you, multiplied by 1,000 times, as infinity mirrors do. And it's just one last reminder before you turn and exit back into the streets of New York City. So graphics that I created for the space, this is my look and feel. Wanted to be very bright and feel like it had a lot of energy. My colors and my typography. These were posters I created for the subways. This is the wayfinding from the nearest subway station to the exhibition, what that could look like along the way, so you find your way there, some collateral for the experience. And that is it. I really appreciate you taking the time. Thank you so much.